Placard 10.
Yes, sir.
And it's a similar for what we just looked at, but a little clearer, closer. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Does it help in this picture, Mr. Williams, number 170, those items that are red in color on the, looks like the seat where the seat folds into below, going downward towards the floorboard. Do you see that?
I see it, but it still does not help, no.
Okay. Number 171 is simply the and you were just making the weapon safe and also that it was loaded.
That's correct.
All right. The next one's 172. As you explained to us so well, that's the close-up of the weapon.
That's correct.
And you also capture, obviously, the serial number of the weapon.
That's correct.
And then 173 is simply you have to have an identification, so that is the license plate. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then 174, once removed, you have both of the, there's a Metro PCS and another cell phone. You see that?
Yes, an LG.
Okay. Now, whose purview would it be? Whose power would it be to say, I want the contents, potentially want the contents of those cell phones to be analyzed?
That would be up to the lead detective and most likely through a search warrant.
Through a search warrant, I guess you said. Is that what you said?
That's correct.
And the lead detective, I've said it 4 times, same person.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. I think we have gone through every other Can you, Mr. Kokomo, would you pull up again? We've looked at this, but if you don't mind going back, 105, Mr. Williams. And if Mr. Kokomo would be so kind to zoom in to the picture where you can see the front passenger headrest, seat headrest. Does that picture assist, or is the angle not helpful to how far back the front passenger seat is positioned?
No.
Okay. Now, is it fair to say that the further back the front passenger seat is, then the less leg room there is for someone to be sitting behind the front passenger?
That's correct.
In 2013, and thank you, sir. In 2013, if you can go back to that time, did the agency have access to something called Total Station?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Do you know, and I'm talking about September 11th of 2013, did your agency have the capability of using computer to shoot, to scale the interior of a car?
I don't believe so.
Did your agency have, and I know this, measuring rulers? 2013.
Nah, they had the rolling tape.
Would it be Detective Quinn's responsibility to measure, if he saw how much room there was between the rear passenger seat area and the seat in front, the front passenger seat, to determine whether a person, let's say, is 6'3" tall, had the leg room to fit in that area?
Would have no.
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
Counsel is assuming facts not evidence.
I stand the objection. Did Detective Quinn have a measuring stick to his, or the Atlanta Police Department, your office, have a measuring device that could tell the jurors how much room there was between the front passenger seat as found by
No.
you and your teammates on the scene of the 2004 Ultima and the rear seat?
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
Asked and answered.
I stand the objection. Okay.
No, they didn't.
Now, could a
God.
bullet have gone through that rear, very rear, passenger side window to break it?
I would have no idea how that passenger side window was broken.
Okay. Would you know how many objects, whatever object that was, that broke that, how many objects went through that area?
No.
Do you remember seeing, noticing a purported bullet hole through the passenger side front headrest?
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
Counsel testified.
God, he can't answer no question.
I'll sustain the question as to form. You can rephrase it, Mr. Steele.
Jesus.
Did you observe, when you were there with the 2004 Nissan Altima red vehicle, did you observe a potential hole through the front passenger side headrest?
I did not process the inside of that car and did not search or go into abundance because I did not want to leave any of my DNA or fibers or fingerprints or anything like that in the car because they had yet to process it. The only thing I did was grab the firearms, I rendered them safe, and I grabbed the cell phones. Outside of that, I did not get close enough inside that vehicle so that they could properly process it once back at the annex.
That would again, at the same question, be the lead detective.
That's correct.
All right. And you realized when you were there that you couldn't, I think your word was contaminate that vehicle because it potentially held a lot of valuable evidence.
Potentially, yes, sir.
Come on now. Question. This next question. Come on, Brent.
Exhibit 119C. Do you have State's Exhibit? Do you have State's Exhibit in front of you, 119C, by any chance? Yes. Okay. And that is already in evidence, correct? Okay. Your Honor, may I display with the Honorable Prosecutor's Assistant State's Exhibit number 119C, as in Colette Charlie? You know, pull up 11C. 119C. Okay, all right.
I don't see how them boys made it
What's
out
going
the
on?
accident.
Were laser, you know what I mean by a laser pointer?
Mhm.
Were they used in your line of business in September 2013 if you wanted to show direction or something?
I'm not real sure when we got those. I don't know what year we got those.
Okay. Okay. In 119C, can you zoom in, Mr. Kokomo? Oh, no, excuse me. Is that correct? The Honorable Prosecutor Atkins, on where the glass is broken. Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, the glass broken because they hit that wall. That lunch
detective.
meat.
Can you pull it down just a little bit if you don't mind? Thank you, sir.
That's why the glass broken.
No, you're good. That's perfect. Thank you. This is how you found the car with the door shut. True?
That's correct.
And do you see there the space where the Honorable Prosecutor Atkins was kind enough to zoom in? You see the space between where the frame is, where the glass is broken, and the rest of the frame of the car?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Tony. When they hit that wall in that red, when they jumped that wall, it tore that glass, it broke that glass on that car. I'm surprised they ain't broken up.
I don't believe I have any other questions. I want to thank you so much. Thank you, Your Honor. You're welcome. Cross, any additional? They have been asked already.
Please, court, Your Honor. Good morning, Detective Benton.
Good morning.
My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell. My understanding is you're an investigator with Atlanta Police Department, correct?
I'm a detective, yes.
Okay. Detective, okay. How long have you been with APD?
A little over 22 years.
22 years. And is that the only agency you've ever been with?
Yes.
All right. Are you generally, and I'm not going to pop quiz you on specifics, but generally are you familiar with APD protocols?
Yes.
All right. Including the APD protocols on investigations.
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome. How long have you been an investigator or a detective? I'm sorry.
Since 2007.
16 years?
Almost 17.
Almost 17. And how long have you been a homicide detective?
Almost 15.
And you have familiarity with the way APD conducts homicide investigations, correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. As a homicide detective, you would agree that the collection of surveillance videos is an important part of an investigation. Okay? Specifically, surveillance videos that would potentially show relevant information to the case.
That's correct.
Would you agree that if you are aware of information that something's supposedly happened at a specific location, surveillance video could help prove or disprove that notion?
Yes.
So if a witness said something happened at a specific location, you can go get video and then you don't have to rely on the credibility of the witness.
If the video is available and the cameras are working, yes.
If the video is available and the cameras were rolling. Okay.
Yes.
And you would agree that that can prove something happened, but also can prove something didn't happen.
That's correct.
All right. Okay. Now, the collection of surveillance video, let's say surveillance video outside of a business. Who, as part of the homicide investigation, who is the person that's in charge of quarterbacking or ensuring that these things are collected?
The lead detective.
Okay, that is in the lead detective's purview.
Yes, sir.
All right. And now, does the lead detective always collect the video?
No.
Okay. Is there a specific person in charge of collecting relevant surveillance video?
Yes, our Homeland Security unit.
You said Homeland Security. Okay. And is that part of APD?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a unit within APD whose primary purpose is to collect relevant surveillance video.
No.
Okay, explain that to me.
Within our Homeland Security unit, we have cyber investigators who are experts in collecting video surveillance or DVR systems, and because they've gone through the specific training. They do a lot of other things within the Homeland Security unit, but they're the people that we rely on when we call, we see there's video surveillance. We call them and have them come download the video surveillance or pull everything from the DVR system, unless we take the system back to them.
So we have people within APD with specialized training that the lead detective can call to ensure that relevant surveillance is collected,
That's
or at least
correct.
an attempt is made to collect.
That's correct.
Okay. And to collect relevant surveillance, are there times where the business owner consents to the collection?
Yes.
Okay, and if a business owner doesn't consent, what legal mechanisms do you have to obtain relevant surveillance video?
Search warrant.
A search warrant. Okay, so you can, as a lead detective, you can apply for a search warrant, obtain a search warrant, and then arm the Homeland Security unit with said search warrant.
If the judge proceeds and agrees that there's enough probable cause, then yes.
Okay, and who's the individual that makes the decision to apply for a search warrant for surveillance video?
The decision will be made solely off of either lead detective or another detective that he's working with.
Okay, lead detective. Okay, let me. You said you have 15 years experience in homicide investigations. I'd like to talk about time frames for the availability of videos. Is it fair to say, before I go into specifics, is it fair to say that the time frame for the availability of video differs from business to business, system to system?
That's correct.
Okay. Are there, assuming that video surveillance is recorded at a business, what are some of the time frames that you've seen as an investigator, as far as how long the surveillance video is maintained by businesses?
The minimal time that I've seen is 12 hours, and the video is immediately overridden by another video, up to a couple of weeks.
Okay. Now, how quickly, as a homicide detective, how quickly are you assigned to investigate a homicide?
When the officers contact homicide,
Okay.
advising they're on an active scene, the supervisor in homicide then contacts who's ever at the top of the rotation. We have a unit rotation, so let's say I'm at the top of that unit rotation. Doesn't matter what time or what day that case comes up, that's going to be mine. I then go to the bottom of the rotation and work my way back up. That way each detective has around about the same number of cases at the end of the year. So it would be whatever supervisor is working would immediately contact that lead detective, whether they're at home, they're at work, and they take the lead role immediately.
So a 911 call comes in, said, responding officer arrives, and then if there's unfortunately a dead body, homicide is called.
That's correct.
And is it fair to say you're generally on the scene or working on the case, assigned to the case in a matter of hours?
A number of hours, yes. It
Okay.
depends on how long it takes to contain and secure the scene, and if the person actually did expire from their injuries.
Okay. And typically, that lead detective that's on the scene, they're leading the sole investigation on the case, correct? Typically, there's not concurrent investigations,
Sometimes there are.
like feds, maybe other
Feds,
law enforcement.
Other law enforcement agencies, yes. There are concurrent investigations going on, yes.
All right. As an investigator, a detective, I'm sorry, when you find evidence, do you typically broadcast it to the world?
Yep.
It depends on what the evidence is.
So, if you find physical evidence, do you typically run and tell reporters all about it, or do you keep some information close to the vest, so to say?
Well, 2013, things were a little different than they are here in 2024. It depends on the detective. Back in 2013, the detective could make the
Yeah.
choice to contact a reporter straight out and advise them that they needed some help and give them part of the investigation, information on the investigation. Back in 2013, they could do that.
Okay. Would that be to ask the public's help in identifying people and things of that nature?
I wouldn't know
Okay.
what any other detective would do with that information. All I can tell you is that you could do that back in 2013.
Okay. When you develop a suspect, do you typically inform the suspect? Is it policy that you have to inform the suspect that they are a suspect?
No.
Okay. So you could keep that within law enforcement.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a time during an investigation where law enforcement may be investigating a crime, but a suspect would have no reason to be collecting evidence or doing their own investigation. You would agree?
I wouldn't know. I would not. I wouldn't know. Every investigation is different. There's been times where I've investigated a particular person. They were well aware that they were being investigated, even though I had never mentioned it and never spoken to them, but they knew that they were being investigated. So I couldn't tell you what other people
Right.
think we're doing.
Okay, but going back to, I guess, my initial question, it's not policy that you would inform anyone.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like I said, it depends on the case and it depends on the investigation.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
Have you had cases
I'm gonna
when
skip
you
it a
were
little bit,
investigating
y'all.
where
I
surveillance
can't
video
stand
from
hear some of
12
these
hours
questions.
to a couple weeks where
Because I really think that her job, she already told them the only thing she was responsible for was putting it, she said her job is measuring uh, evidence on the outside. She's still on the stand. Jesus. She didn't measure the inside of the car, she measured the outside of the car. Get him, Mr. Steele. Oh, that lady was like, he didn't sneeze until that man came up there. Get him, Mr. Steele. All right, y'all. Come on now. Y'all didn't on the deacon board. Let me see what's going on. Hey, Thug. And them teenage days, you're old man now.
Defense counsel with 120 Charlie and 122 Charlie subsections Alpha through Delta. Ms. Leonard, I'm asking a couple questions about that. Ms. Leonard, what are those items?
You have a copy of the CAD report. You also have audios from two CDs.
And how do you recognize those?
CAD report has my initials on top. My initial with my name. The audio has my initials on them.
Are they an accurate depiction of CAD report and traffic related to this incident?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit to evidence the state's exhibits 120 Charlie and 122 Charlie subsections Alpha and Delta. You said 120 Charlie and 122 Charlie Alpha through Delta? Yes, Your Honor. All right. Counsel, is there any objection from states 120 Charlie, 122 Charlie subsections A through Delta? All right, they're admitted and they troubleshoot. Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lyons, I'm going to publish, talk about 120 Charlie. Now, Ms. Lyons, what is the time for this CAD report?
13254-038,
And what date was this generated?
September 11, 2013,
What time was the call initiated?
10:40 a.m. hours,
And what time was the call received?
10:45 a.m. hours,
What was the location of this call?
2614 Old Hakeville Road Southwest, Apartment 6, Atlanta.
And what zone was this call in reference to?
Zone 3, 310B.
Now, Ms. Lyons, up at the top,
Y'all, this is the call 911 call to the place over there where they crashed into the laundromat.
it says 45 larceny. Explain what that means.
Larceny is someone car broken into. That's our sickness for police.
And is that the call type and description of this initial call?
Yes.
What time did the first responders arrive to this call?
10:46 a.m. hours.
And who were the primary units that responded to this call?
Unit 2310.
You are under primary unit. Was there any additional officers that assisted?
You have a couple officers. You have have 2302, 2307, 2308, 2309, 2312, 2313, 2330, 2331, 2343, 2344, 2345, 2391, 2394, 2396.
Is that, a unusual amount of officers response calls?
Yes.
Now, I want to ask you about traffic starting at this report at 12:06 and 22.
Are we looking on the second page?
Yes, ma'am. This letter leading up to 12:06, explain what this CAD report is indicating in terms of what the traffic, how we got to 12:06.
Dog, they got that call in the AM. Oh yeah, that's when they stole that boy car.
Explain it, go to page 6.
That's perfect. That's to explain.
Okay, on page 6, the call came in as a 69, which is 69 is a gun. So the call, you want me to advise what the call advised? Okay, the call advised the 911 operator, 78 on the black belt, red hat, red shoes. Second person, black female, black shirt, red shoes, pulled out a gun on her and her child. Then the caller hung up the phone.
Now, Ms. Ladders, is that what the officers were when they first responded? That was the call that they were responding to.
69 gun, yes.
Now, I wanted to ask you, have you ever seen a CAD report that covers multiple crimes? Does an officer respond to one crime and develop to something else?
Yes.
Can you give some explanation for how that may be reflected in a CAD report?
Where you would see where it says related, incident related to. And they give a different incident number.
And if officers, say, for example, were out on one type of call and ended up uncovering or being involved with another that was waiting on the CAD report, could
Go ahead. Hey, I think they need you to come out and move your 2643, don't do right on the side. Plus 336, I'm seeing a unit behind it now. I guess they might be checking over.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and code for it.
5040, that's standby for zone 3.
See, units in route with the 5040 to Grady.
Phoenix 1, do you have a picture?
No, not yet.
Private Lieutenant Culberson.
Freezing Lieutenant Culberson.
This is the 911 dispatcher call.
5301, standing by with homicide.
And the officer. Officer.
I just want to advise you, we got the bus fired up. We'll be en route to you. Just be thinking about where you want it. Should be there in about 15 minutes. All right. Probably the best place would be in the empty parking lot of the old Kmart right there. That's about 100 yards away. Copy that. 2850. Copy. That's perfect. 2391. Did you copy where the command post will meet with you? No, what I copy is down in the Kmart parking lot.
294 to 5301. Can you give me the name of the suspect in the back of plus 358? Give me his name again.
91 to Culberson.
They get on my nerve. Prosecutor get on my nerve. They do too much. They need to be a little professional. Just be ready to snap. Jesus. All right, y'all. Let me skip it. Ooh-wee, this trial right here may take a whole another year. They be done did they time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. All right, Mr. Atkins, you may continue, sir.
It started at what time?
At 12:06.
I'm not gonna be able to tell you how long radio traffic went.
And I would expect to. However, I have a shortcut of 122 Charles Bravo that's on the screen to the left. How long was that radio traffic distance?
Right here?
Yes, ma'am.
24 minutes, 34 seconds.
So if it started at 12:06, what time would it be?
A little after 12:24. About 1. I don't know.
That's all right. So if it was 12:06 and we played 24 minutes of it, it would be around 12:30.
You said 12:06, yes. About 12:29, 12:28.
Now, the ladders, I'm going to approach 121 Charlie. Let me know if you recognize that document.
This is a copy of the incident for that day.
How do you recognize Ms. Ladders?
Well, my name is printed up there, and it's a copy of the incident for 911 calls.
Your Honor, at this time, citizen moved to a 96 exhibit.
She know her job.
We're gonna start at 5:23. All right, sir.
Hey, Book, you up? Are you crazy? Hey, Book, y'all said something about moving vehicles. What's the 78 of those vehicles? I guess it's smart for you guys here. vehicles. Still got the little white pickup, a patrol car, and a Taurus. You're a 6 radio. Let me get the 78 of that, man.
Okay, y'all. So that's just the 911 call from the dispatcher. That's what they discussing right there. So I appreciate y'all coming in and providing your information down in the chat about what took place today, in the trial. Earlier part of the video, you had a detective, female, and she had some experience. She had some experience. She had good experience in being a detective, and she announced that she did not measure nothing inside the car, but she did collect the guns and the cell phone. She didn't want to touch nothing else because she didn't want her blood to get, mixed up with somebody else's blood. So she did remove the phone and the guns. Also, she said that she did the measurement, said that she don't know what year did the pens come out where you could just shine the point of the pen and it can be like the red dots. I think those things been out there since 2013. So she trying to act like she ain't know that. But and also in the lady this last woman that we had on the stand, it's the dispatcher which has taken the stand also. On the behalf of being a dispatch, she dispatched the call to the officers. Now, this incident, the whole incident, my conclusion is that the whole incident and what took place in court today has something to do with the accident when the red car hopped over the wall and crashed into the wall. They mentioned something about the glass being cracked. Of course, the glass gonna be like that. They ran into the wall. You saw money on the ground, and it was a couple guys. A guy got shot, and the officer got one person. They trying to say that was Young Thug that got away in the woods. But that's all I wanted to bring in today. Y'all, I appreciate y'all, living with me with this trial, with this RICO trial, and being patient. When y'all get a chance, could y'all help me get my lights up? I appreciate you, okay? I'm out.